Hello there, guys. This is my third attempt today to do this live. As you know, I do them on lives because I don't have the equipment and tools and stuff and laptop power to record all the time, to record, edit, and put them up. It's quicker for me to do these live. So anyway, on the 17th of July, Parliament put up on its website that the Education Committee have informed a inquiry into the practice of children's social care. This is really, really, really big to everybody who has been involved in the pressure group at Forced Adoption Exposed, Holtby Adoption Drive. 17 days in, and full-blown inquiry into social services. But as it goes, it always comes under a format. So let me just explain very quickly. I have tried to do this 3 times today. Unfortunately, my son's not very well. And also something just rattled me as I was reading through it earlier on. I just wanted to double check a couple of things. I don't like to put anything out that hasn't been thoroughly checked. So this is a massive big call for any family who has been affected by children's social care, be it through whichever means you have come to being involved in children's social care, be it yourself, be it your own children. The challenge that we've got with this investigation is it's flawed immediately because it's about children's social services. This is why we need you to bring it in, and I'll explain at the end of this video. It's really big. I'm going to read through now and why you must get your submission in. But also what I want you to really do is work on your submission and make sure it is in before the deadline, which is the 30th of August. So you have the 30th of August to get your highlighters, get your pens, and get through your paperwork and write this in a structure that we're going to help you constantly. Now, this was put out on the 17th of July, which was the day that we had Destroyed by Social Care worldwide sort of event. Pressure, timing, co-symbioticness, but it's here. Now, it's not an investigation, it is an inquiry. Now, what they will basically do is they put it out already. All Parliament will stand on the 25th of July. So that means that's it. School's out, they've gone. And what they'll basically do is your submissions will go through an auto bot. They will all come back on the 3rd of September. They will check the emails, they will go through it, and the inquiry will be done. They are not going to be marketing. They are not going to be coming and knocking on your door. They are not going to be emailing every single person who has been affected by social care. They're not going to be putting this out in the papers on a weekly, daily basis to call you in. They've done what they need to do. Job done. So please, 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 please. The link is on my crack book. It'll be back in here again. Make sure you get your submissions in. But what I'm also asking you to do is to send an email to educom, so it's educom at parliament.co.uk, to the attention of Richard Ward, for Robert, the head of the committee, that you are putting together your submission, and it will be in by the day of the deadline, so they know that there is enough of us. So please, please, this is really important. People are going to tell you guys, don't get involved in anything that's government run. It will be government run, so it'll be one-sided. People will say, oh, they never listen, they never do anything. If you don't get in it, it's like being in the lottery. If you don't buy a fucking ticket, you've no chance of fucking winning. If you don't get your submissions in, we're done. Do you understand this? We are done. So you must get your submissions in. So I'm going to read it out briefly for you. So basically, the scope of the inquiry. So the inquiry is likely to pick up on the concerns about the impact of time pressure on social care work, with increasing reports of time not being available to social workers to properly do their work. There is also likely to be a focus on issues as the cause and impact of high turnover of staff in some social care departments across the country. Now, that's what they're tending to look at. Now, what you've got to remember is it only gets funded for so long. So now basically what they've done now is they've just given us a portal. What we've got to now do is we've got to funnel everything into them, all of our submissions. This is the framework that they're going to be working through for terms of reference. So the committee is inviting written submissions addressing the following questions. So you've now got to take these questions that I now read out to you and broadly now bring this back to the fact that social workers are not getting to do a proper job because of the time that's available, increasing reports, it is led to unlawful and unnecessary removal and detainment of children, and the emotional abuse to the family, to the level of torture, draconian acts, that it's been a miscarriage of justice, the misfeasance, malfeasance in public office. You must get that framework in what you say. That's coming from me, not them. So anyway, what is needed from social workers, social work and by social workers in 2019. Now that's what thrown me, because I thought 2019, that's really short. So this is going to be really hard and fast, quick. They want to know right now, what do we want? The capacity and ability of social workers to intervene early to help, support and protect children and their families, uphold their responsibility under relevant legislation, access appropriate and meaningful professional development and support, and work with other professionals who play a role in the care of children within education and health systems. How initiatives and reforms to social work training have impacted on social workforce. And if you are an organisation or an academic, please address the terms reference in your response. We'd be particularly interested in organisations who work with service users, feeding their views to their responses. So this is where I come in, guys. We need you. I need every single one of you on board with this now, because you could bring me in on the panel for this. If you're an individual who's experience of social care, please download and answer our questions specifically for those who live with experience doc, which is on their website. The website will be out, and then obviously it goes on to stuff, and that was what threw me earlier on as well, because it was talking about 2017. It was like, woof. So go through it yourself. Please get your submissions in. Please help expand the boxes on this and get them to understand that they're looking at the sort of, has there been bad practice, but we've got to be the evidence now to show how this bad practice has existed. So this is what is basically happening. We've become a case. No human, we're not mum, dad, women, we are just case numbers. Our children are just case numbers. And this isn't even necessarily about our children, and social workers have to complete this within a certain set of time frames when they are actually dealing with 50, 60, 70 cases, and the referral to social services is going on higher and higher. And the system is flawed and it is in chaos because, as I have explained to you, if an adult parent, either themselves, is under physical, learning, education needs, anything that means you become below the threshold, adult social services have a duty to take you above the threshold in order to be able to parent, as you have the right to lead a family. That's not happening, either because parents are denying it or because it's not being offered to them. But there is actually a working together model that brings it together as a family that's not being implemented in the system because the frameworks just don't exist. With Aaron and Faith being taken, 13th of December, they were taken. I went into a 26-week court process. At the end of that, the care and placement orders were made. That was it. But it took about 5 months for freedom of request. You know, people weren't getting paperwork in. Paperwork wasn't representative of me and my family. Things were incorrect. You know, there were so many problems. And like they said, they're talking about the retention of social workers. Some people can have up to 3, 4, 5, 6 different social workers, even in that short term. That is ridiculous. You cannot get to know a family by hitting them with paperwork, getting access to their freedom of request, doing a psychological report, sometimes barely ever meeting families. And even just meeting families, it's running off an SPS data based on what they find within your freedom of request, which was an immediate flaw immediately, because it's only based on negatives when you go to the doctors or under social or been involved with any of the services, because it doesn't bring a balance of when you were well, when everything was good. It's all based on a genealogy. So a social worker has to bring a genealogy on that family immediately. And, you know, that it's not as if they're sitting down and doing a full timeline with you. So there's lots of things in this that give us enough holes to pick into this. And this is where you really, I hope to God you've listened to me all the way on making sure you were ready for this day. So please, 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 it's some holidays. I know a lot of you don't have your children. It's really, really hard work. So please, please, if you don't have your paperwork, do a freedom of request. The submission is not going to let you tell your story. So get on there, get it in, like literally now. Just click it, write a document, answer what they're asking you to ask, build around it, keep bringing it back to the question, use it like an exam question. I'll keep bringing things out. So literally it's the 23rd today. So well done, guys. You know, this is our focus now. So from today, 23rd, have no fear, all the way through to the end of the month, I'm going to keep driving, pushing you all into basically getting your bundle. Oh, I've taken some bits out of mine. And getting your highlighters. Make sure you have another copy. Make sure you've always got an original copy. And literally, where are we? Go through. Yellow to whatever is just balanced. Green if it's correct. Use the pink if, because there's no red if it's incorrect. Orange if they've made a mistake. And green, obviously I've said green if it's correct. And it will help you easier because you can just go through and literally just write it up in a complete framework, just to show how much was incorrect and to say that, you know, the way that it was done was such a shambles, and also tell them what is it that you wanted when you went to social services. So basically the way that I would frame this, and I'm going to make a suggestion to them to make it easier, that I actually bring a lot of you guys in because I need a job right now, and this would be a really easy job for me to do, and perfect because it means they pay my petrol and travel to go and do this. So hopefully you can help me get that. So basically to say, hi, who you are, how you came into social care, what you thought was going to happen, what happened, and answer them questions on there, and then bring it out to the fact that because it didn't happen the way it should have happened, and because you didn't get the service and care that you should have had, that the consequences is, and this is how it has affected you. And I would go along those lines. I've gone through the questions where they just ask you the basic information, but then you have to download a Word document. Now, I don't have Word on here, so this is going to be one catch. You must write it in a Word document, and then you download it onto their submission form, and then from there you just fill in the details and send it. Done, 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 done. I expect nearly 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,000 of you doing this. If I hear at the end of it that there was 56 like we got for the adoption inquiry, I will be absolutely fucking livid and gutted and wonder why the fuck I've done any of this. So please, 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 this is really, 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 really important. Like buying a lottery ticket, that you have to be in it to win it. If only 1, 2, 3, 4 of you respond to this, and they come back in September and they go, and shut. We need 8, 9, 10, 11, 20, 40, 90, 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 4,000, 19,000. We need every single person who has been affected by the children's social care system to please, please, please respond to this inquiry. I don't work for the inquiry. I would love an opportunity to work for the inquiry right now. But I am just doing this because I need this to work for my own children, and we need this to work for all of our children and for a future generation. Some children are going to need to be protected by this system, and we having a chance now to affect this from now and forever forward. It's not going to mean we're going to get our children back. However, by the grace of the power of the Lord, and I know He is in this, if we flip this over to an investigation, because enough of us come forward and bring enough cause for concern, then chances are we can all be rectified and rehabilitated with our children, because we've got the investigation. But we can't get the investigation without you putting your submissions in. So please, 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 whatever someone tells you about why not to get involved, you have to. This is a must for your child. Tell them how this has affected your child. They have never ever seen the consequences of their actions. It's our chance now to tell them how they have affected our family because of their bad practice, and what we feel that we need from social care now. And that includes the 3 demands: that they must halt the current practice, they must suspend all cases, and they must reverse to bring families home for Christmas with correct support in place, and that they must now work from enabling a supportive system and not from this removal, and all funding must be into supporting family. And also, because it's the education system, we can also affect it on the basis of what is going on as well with gender neutralisation in the education system, who very quickly took their banner down, by the way. So please, 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 the website is going to be down here. Please go and literally through the summer holidays, make sure it is in by the deadline. I'm going to hammer you to make sure they're in. There is no reason for you to stall. I know it is summer, but this is important. This is paramount for you, your family, for your justice, for us now to get a voice and a chance to push this open to a complete investigation into the practice of a bad practice of children's social care. And we can bring everything to the table on this to make sure that we are ready on the 3rd of September to stand as every single person who has made a submission to go, right, now you've made an inquiry, now we want an investigation. And let's put all of our focus and all of our eggs in our basket in this one thing now. Let's all drop everything. Drop the lot, drop the demos, drop the bad things. We do need to train. You do need to attend XR training. We do need to hold for direct action. We do need the pressure on. And the way that we're going to do this now is it's going to be really hot tomorrow. Go and prepare for summer. Go and feel really lovely, great. Go enjoy, go and have some fun. And literally, it's Monday today. Start, if you haven't got your paperwork, apply for your paperwork through Freedom of Request. Literally, Freedom of Request. Apply for what it is that you need, which is your paperwork. Wait for it, get it through. Email them to say that you've applied for your Freedom of Request, and also respond and say this in your letter, that is what you have applied for. If you have your paperwork, grab a bundle, grab a blanket. I'm assuming most of you don't have childcare issues. If you do have childcare issues, find a solution to your childcare issues, or even involve your children in helping you with this. Get your bundles, get your highlighters, go sit in a park, go sit somewhere really beautiful, start going through notepad and pen to your side, start writing all your notes, and start getting this ready to actually put together as an affidavit, ready for a real blown class action and real blown investigation. But only you can do this now. I can't do this for you. Now, if I can get this van, I've got the chance to get a coach right now. So Justin has put a coach up. It's going to cost £9,000, but it's all done up. If I could raise £9,000, I want this coach like now. 250 for me to do my driving license, or a coach driver who's willing to come on tour with us, so I can literally nip round and get every single one of your submissions in time. I do have the car. I am willing to come out and help people. I do have my kids. I'm going to take my kids to places that are safe for my kids. I will be willing to meet in towns and cities. I will need help with the costs to do this. Of course, I'm not got if you notice now you will see how much these inquiries, investigations start costing, and you'll start to see how much work that pretty much me and Amber do. Some people join on little bits, but I'm 24/7 pretty much. You know, and I don't get paid to do this. It's personal. I have my kids taken in unlawful detainment. It was done in a 26-week court process, and that was it. Legal aid was taken and I was thrown out, and I've been campaigning ever since. So please, 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 please. I will even get a group for this up submission to help everybody, and let's just drop all of the balls now. Drop absolutely everything that we're dealing with. Continue with training. Continue with working on your mind being straight. You're working from your heart. Keep bearing with me. Keep submitting to the Lord. Keep praying. Keep positive thoughts. Keep this positive. Keep speaking life into your life, not death. Positive. And just put all of your focus now into going to get some highlighters, getting any paperwork that you do have together. Even every evening, once you've sat in, get your paperwork together, get into a routine and give yourself a deadline. Sit down with a calendar and go, done. It has to be in by this particular date. I want to get it checked. Think of it like school, like an exam, like writing an essay, and just go right and framework it. If you need help, come in, please let us know how many people do need help with this. If it is a case of I have to get groups up to help you with this and push this going, then so be it. That's what we're going to have to do. Dean is back on the road, so I have time to do it when he's out on the road. And he's pretty much going to be on tour and out on the road all of this year. So from next year, he's going to be at home. So that's when obviously my book will move forward and I'll be out on the road. So I have time to do this. I have the boys, of course, but if I can correctly get us on the road properly, I'd love to get this coach, like fucking wicked. I could literally sit at an office in this coach and take all of your submissions, but I need £9,000 to do this. They're not going to do this. So let's make sure that by the time of submission, we can go bang, 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 this is how many you've got. And they go, wow, okay, this has to be top priority to deal with this matter. If not, hopefully let them know before they leave. But they're gone. That's like, you know, old teacher. You can't bring an old teacher back. You have to deal with the fact that you're going to have a new teacher. So it's time for us to teach them the consequences of their actions. So please, 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 guys, and well done to everybody who are part of Red X, Forced Adoption Exposed, all of the other subgroups that go on that have been putting the pressure on making this happen. This is really big for us. We must flip this from an inquiry to an investigation, and the only way we can do this is for you to hit the button and submit your document, your witness statement to how their bad practice has affected your family. So please, 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 drop everything else. Have a lovely summer. And the other thing is, if you can, and I'm willing to do it, it runs out by the 30th of July, but if you want to collect these, any date from tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, because I won't be ready for it, and Elijah's not been well, but any date leading up to the 30th, which is next Tuesday, I'm willing to go. Thorpe Park's not far from me, so, and Chessington's not far from me. Alton Towers is a bit too far, but I am willing to travel if people want to meet at Alton Towers. Legoland's not far from me, Warwick Castle's not far from me. Banjo Swords and Dungeons not far from me, but I'm thinking, I've actually said to Dean on Saturday, but it might be a bit too busy, or the end of it was next Tuesday. So pretty much every time from this, if anyone wants to collect a free ticket and go, yes, we want to all meet up, and I'm willing to do that, I'll put that out on another video tomorrow. So I shall catch you real soon. So please, 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 drop them balls. Just drop it, drop the balls. Whatever's going on now is done. We've done it, we've completed it. Now you've got to take together everything that I've said, where you've highlighted it. You should already have it all done. You should literally now be going, name, who you are, your address, download your document, and off it goes. Now go join your summer. Come back in September. So, oh, I'm going to be back on in a minute for my normal life. So catch you later. Bye.